massive drama in Paris as not just a game, but the entire tournament goes down to the final kick. My name is Mark. Let's talk rugby. What an absolutely amazing game of rugby that was, and what a brilliant end to the championship as well. Just drama all the way through, swinging back and forth, just sheer entertainment, edge of the seat stuff all the way through. First off, apologies for not getting this out last night. It was a little bit late here in Spain by the time the game finished, so I couldn't record, unfortunately, but we're getting it done today. So we're going to go through the game and then we'll talk about stats and each of the teams afterwards. But yeah, the crazy game. So we start off France, fast start for them. Ramos, Grubber in behind. BLBRE beats Marcus Smith to the bouncing ball to collect and go over. That's converted for 7 points to 0. Or, was it Marcus Smith? They beat the fullback anyway. I don't think Smith was playing it at the time. England then don't take long to respond, attacking into 22. They move it left to right. Daly gets on an edge and then he puts Roebuck over in the corner. Conversion miss, 7 points to 5. France then attack off a scrum into 22 on the right. They shift it. Jalabert puts the Grubber in behind, and of course it's BLBRE who gets there first to score. Ramos converts for 12 points to 5. England then hit back, playing quickly into 22. Spencer, he puts a Grubber in behind. Atasogbe gets there first, but as he's sliding under pressure from Finn Smith, he knocks the ball over his own goal line, and Murley gets there to loose ball first, dots it down. Conversion missed, 14 points to 10. But England's shown some real fight in the game. We then have a Timo check for a possible try by Jalabert. He kicks over the top into 22, competes with Murley as the ball bounces close to the try line. Looks like both players have got there kind of at the same time and they rule that it's no try, but we come back for a penalty for offside and Ramos slots that to make it 17-10. England then drive them all and they're making progress. France infringe. England back to the corner. Again, they go to the maul. The backs pile in. It gets halted. So England shift the ball out of there. Itoje, he goes close. Then they recycle and Chesham goes over. Converted for 17-17. We're all square. Another powerful maul from England. It's brought down illegally by France, but England play with the advantage. They shift the ball inside from the left. Before then going, who was it? Atkinson with a strong carry. Then they go back left to where the forwards still are after the maul. Chesham then puts Coles over to score. And on the conversion then, ball falls off the tee. Finn Smith, though, really cool, picks it up and just drops it over. Brilliant kick from him. 24 points to 17. England ahead. France then offside and Smith extends England's lead from the tee, 27-17. And I have to say, as an Ireland fan, I was beginning to believe that maybe a championship was there for us. Clock in the red for half time. France driving them all for the corner. England bring it down. We have a TMO check. It's a penalty try. Genge goes to the bin. 27-24 half time. Crucial score from France there. And that's what champions do, Clock in the red doesn't matter. If a score is there to be had, more often than not, they'll get it. And they did. France then strike just after the break at the Sogbe, gets them into the 22. Olivon with a powerful carry before Dupont spins it wide and BLBRE completes his hat-trick. Ramos again nails the conversion from the touchline. 31-27, France lead. France then looking to keep up the pressure. They've got 2 minutes left on that yellow card for Genge. They win a penalty in the shadow of the post. Dupont goes quickly, long pass right for Atasogbe, and he's over. And then, of course, Ramos lands the conversion, 38-27, and it looks like France maybe going to stretch away and maybe have an easy run to the title, but England having none of that. So France attacking in the England half. Chesham intercepts and he goes in from 60 metres. Conversion missed. 38-32. England on the way back. And England, now they got momentum. They're attacking the 22 again. They move the ball right and Marcus Smith left. And Marcus Smith drifts between two defenders and does really well to get the ball down under pressure from Atasogbe. He converts his own try, 39-38. England with their noses in front. And again, maybe the dream is back on for Ireland. Ball then goes loose in the French half. Dupont punts it downfield. There's a foot race and BLBRE is in it, so you may as well just award it to him because you know he's going to win it, and he does. He also survives an ankle tap as he goes to kind of nudge the ball forward with his foot and gets that ball first to score, convert for 45-39. France lead again. Final few minutes and England piling on the pressure in the 22. They suck in the defence and then Freeman goes over to score, converted for 46-45. England with a 1 point lead, and himself and Pollock, their celebration, like shushing the French crowd. Probably not a good idea given what actually happens in the game. But you could see they were pretty excited. Then clock just ticks over into red. France are on halfway, but there's a high tackle from England. Play on advantage, and then there seems to be a deliberate knock on there as well. We have a delay then as they determine where the penalty is going to be taken from. It's on an angle, and it's 40 odd meters away. France opt to kick for the posts. And, you know, if you choose anyone from this year's Six Nations to take a kick to win the tournament, Tomo Ramos is your man. And of course, he steps up, strokes it over and wins the tournament for France. And, you know, yeah, that guy just amazing off the tee, amazing in general play as well. But his consistency off the tee, brilliant. And it would have been a real shame had, you know, a guy who was, you know, head and shoulders, I think, above any of the other kickers in the competition if he was to miss us. So I think it was very fitting that he got the kick that retains the title, won the game, retains the title for France. 48-46 is the full-time score. So we're going to have a look at the stats and then we'll come back and we'll talk about each of the teams briefly. Okay, so let me pull the stats up here. Okay, so first off, possession, 48-52, so England shading that. And then territory, 47-53, England shading that again. On attack then, attacking minutes, 17.4 to 18.2, 6 tries to 7. So France, a try, just one try every just under 3 minutes of attacking. And England, you know, about closer to about one try every 2.6 or something minutes of attacking. And interesting there as well, you see that England in terms of tries outscored France, but again that Ramos accuracy off the tee made up for that extra try that England got. Carries them 134 to 131. Meters carried 611 to 677. So England just about shading the meters per carry. Meters gained then 357 to 419. So very similar conversion rates in terms of, you know, the meters gained from meters carried as well. Line breaks then 10 to 6, and that's off 21 and 19 defenders beaten. So France getting a line break once every 2 defender beaten, and England 1 in every 3. Total pass then 131 to 123. Offloads 15 to 7. Handling errors 9 each. So you can see France, even with going for twice as many offloads, they still had a very similar error count to England. Then turnovers conceded 11 to 12. So again, very even on that front. Onto kicking then. Kicks and play 26 to 26. And again, similar to a lot of the other games that we've seen this weekend, kind of returning to normality. We started the tournament with every single team in the first round kicking 30 or more kicks. We had, I think, England at the top of that with 42 kicks. And then we had, games in the middle of the tournament where teams are kicking a lot less. We had like 18 kicks, 12 kicks, 20 kicks, that kind of thing. But our average normally in a Six Nations game is 25, 26, and we got 26 from both teams here. Then kicking meters 662 to 568, so very similar. But you see France kicking that little bit longer in their kicks, and that's reflected in short tackle kicks as well. 17 for France and 19 for England. But France definitely got the better of the kicking in terms of, you remember, there was 2 grubbers for BLBE tries in the first half. You had 1 from Spencer for an England try as well. But then we also had the kick from Dupont that led to BLBE's his 4th try, I think, in the game. So yeah, I think like France, they've shown through the tournament that, they took a very different approach to what we've seen previously for all teams, in that they weren't just about getting to the kick and competing and trying to win the ball. One of their main focuses was, when the ball is loose, we get there first. And almost every time that they were getting there first in almost all of their games as well. And it paid a huge dividend for them. I think it's something that the other teams need to learn from as well. Onto defence then. Tackles made 159 to 133. Tackles missed 19 to 21. So France at 82%. And, for Six Nations, if you're anywhere in the 80s, you're doing well. England at 75, which is where we've seen most teams against France. I think Ireland were down in the 60s, 66 or something when they played France. So it's very hard to hit that 80 mark against a French team who were so elusive. Onto, funnily, like, I'm looking at interceptions, they got 0-0, so that's obviously wrong because Chesham intercepted for his try. Penalties conceded then 11 each, so neither team being able to keep it in single figures. But you look at the intensity the game was played at, the way it swung back and forth, the way teams had, periods of just putting on immense pressure as well. It meant that, it was difficult really to not concede penalties, just because of how dominant one team or the other was. Free kicks then 1-0, offensive penalties 6-3, and defensive penalties 5-8. And then we had 1 yellow card each as well in the game. On to breakdown then. Rooks won 85 for France to 95 for England. Rooks lost 3-1. And then in terms of the speed of ball, so fast ball 0 to 3 seconds, France 47%, England 61%. Then medium speed 4 to 6 seconds, 38% to 20%, and then slow ball 6+ seconds, 16% to 18%. So on that you can see England getting a lot of the fast ball, but France have what they deemed to be 0-second rooks, which is where they're basically, instead of going into a ruck, they're looking for the offload, they're looking to move the ball instead and avoiding rucks as best they can. And, again, paid off for them. But England with, massively quick ball, and we saw the pace that they're playing at, and it really did give them a big chance in the game. And you've got to give credit to, Steve Borthwick and his coaches. They've had, a lot of criticism, very similar to, a lot of the other coaches through the tournament as well, at times being criticized. But, they put out the same team that got beaten by Italy, and they were able to, completely change the way the team played and the pace that they played at as well. And they came so close to getting themselves a win out of it as well. Mauls won then 5-6, and then one Maul lost by England. Finally then onto set piece. So scrums, not a major factor in the game, but France winning only 4 of 6 scrums, and England going 2 from 2. Lineouts then, France 11 from 11 and England 12 from 12. Okay, so let's talk about the teams. We're going to start with England first. So, you look at where England were after that Italy defeat, complete rock bottom, 3 defeats in a row. They knew that Wales had beaten Italy, so there was a chance that if they got pumped in this game, that a wooden spoon was there for them as well. So, maybe that's a bit of motivation. But I think, the fact that, just everything that happened to them over the preceding 3 rounds, really, getting pumped by Scotland, pumped by Ireland, and beaten by Italy as well. And you got to give credit to them. They really responded well in this one. And, nobody kind of accused England of, handing the title to France in the end. If there's any, I'm sure there's some bitter Irish fans probably out there who will say it, because every fan base has assholes, right? And we're no different than anybody else. But, I'd say, as a genuine fan of rugby, you'd have to say, that England really put up the France. Obviously, they're not going out there thinking, we've got to do it for Ireland. They're playing for themselves. They're playing to potentially get a win, and it would have been an absolutely famous win as well had they pulled it off. Completely isolated from the context of the tournament itself. It would have been an amazing win for England to achieve. They came so close to it as well. I was, very impressed again with how quickly, not just how quickly they were securing the ball, but also the fact that once the ball was secured, there were options for Spencer, all the time as well. Players coming at pace, winning collisions, and the fact that, when they got chances to move the ball into 22 as well, they executed as well. Just the skills were there, and that's been something that has been lacking, in those 3 defeats that we've seen from England. That accuracy, but not just the accuracy at pace, the accuracy under pressure. They produced that today, and yeah, I'd say it was an exceptional performance from England. And, the thing now is, I'm not sure where this England team are after that, because it's still the same England team that lost to Italy. It's still the same England squad that got pumped by Ireland, got pumped by Scotland. So, they're definitely ending in terms of performance on a high. But yeah, you still don't know where they are, and whether, the way they played in this game was just a case of nothing to lose, let's go for it, or is that the way England want to play in the future? I think if they do, it's definitely an exciting brand of rugby for them to play, and that they've shown that they have the skills, they've got the personnel to do it. But we also know that Borthwick is a very conservative coach, so we'll have to kind of watch the space on that and see how they go, especially when they go down to South Africa for the Nations Cup. Then on to France, got off to a good start, but England wouldn't go away. They even, but getting that score when they were trailing just before half time. For me, pivotal moment for them. They got the penalty try, and they got the yellow card, and then they made hay while the sun shined during that yellow card period as well. Built themselves up a decent lead. England then started eating away at that lead, got themselves in front, but France went again back in front. They fall behind, but they don't give up. They get the penalty at the end, and of course Ramos puts it over. But I have to say, obviously as an Irish fan, I would have loved for Ireland to have won the championship. But looking at the entire championship, you can't say that, France didn't deserve to win it. They were the best team over the 5 rounds. They had even that game against Scotland where, Scotland absolutely destroyed them for 65 minutes. They still managed to score 40 points themselves, and we had 90 points in that game. We had 94 points in this game as well. They've got some really exceptional players as well. You look at, obviously Dupont in there, but I think, Jalabert and Ramos have stepped up a lot in this tournament as well, I feel. And then BLBRE, 4 tries in this game, 10 tries in the championship to set it a new record again. And I think they said he's like 5th in the all-time scoring charts for the Six Nations already. And, if that guy stays fit, he's not only going to break the record, he's going to absolutely smash that record and, set a new, much higher bar for, the future player, because there will be a future player who's going to come along and break that record. It may not be in my lifetime, but it will happen at some stage. But yeah, absolutely exceptional player. And, it's not just the pace either. It's, because there have been lots of players down through the years that have real pace. It's the finishing ability, the awareness, situational awareness of, where he is on the field, and then his just willingness to keep making those runs. And he getting his reward for it. Absolutely brilliant player, but overall an amazing team. And again, absolutely deserved champions. I feel like, had Ireland won it, obviously I would have been happy for the fact that we'd won it, but I don't feel like it would have been a deserved title because, again, France, the standout team, they pumped Ireland first up as well, in that. So in the head-to-head, they won that too. And just the way this game seesawed back and forth, and the absolute drama then of that final kick to win it as well. Just, absolute, movie magic almost, with that too. So brilliant champions, amazing game, and overall just a fantastic Six Nations this year.